A rate increase will soon be reality for Jasper water customers. More on that, plus a new investment has been made in Huntington's Stellar Communities projects, and Purdue Extension educator Jan Dugan has a new way to eat less without even knowing it in tonight's edition of Inform. All of that and much more is up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. Jasper water customers need to be on the lookout for higher rates coming up later this year. This morning, the Jasper Utility Service Board's Water Committee recommended a 17% increase in city water rates. Utilities General Manager Bud Hauersperger says roughly 9.5% of that increase is due to utility projects that were mandated by the Environmental Protection Agency. Two such projects are work on the Beaver Lake Spillway and the ongoing work on the UV project. Hauersperger says the originally proposed increase was actually between 25 and 28%, but that was not palatable for city officials. Hauersperger says though rates will be higher initially, the city will have water rates comparable with the rest of the area when all is said and done.
Rates tend to leapfrog because every so often utilities are required or need to do rate studies, and if you're the kind of the last one to do or have the most recent rate study, you're kind of higher than a lot of people. But as in the next year and the year after that, when they do their rate studies, everybody tends to leapfrog a little bit. So it's kind of a constant leapfrogging effect of who has the lowest rates at any particular time.
The recommendation will be taken up by the Jasper Utility Service Board at their next meeting later this month. The Jasper City Council will be holding a public hearing on the increase at their April meeting as well. If approved, the rate increase would go into effect on August's utility bills. This will be the first water rate increase in Jasper since 2010 if it is approved. A pair of Lagodi residents were among 3 people arrested Monday night after Indiana State Police were alerted to potential drug activity. At around 7:15 Monday night, authorities went to a residence in the 200 block of Southeast 1st Street in Lagodi to follow up on information about the activity at that location. They were met at the door by 28-year-old William Bradley of Lagodi, and officers could immediately smell marijuana just standing outside the door. After entering the residence, the odor became even stronger. 24-year-old Joshua Lee Kropp of Bedford was found inside the home, along with a 2-year-old boy. After getting a search warrant from Martin County Circuit Court, officers found almost 1.5 pounds of marijuana in the home, along with a legend drug. Bradley and Kropp were arrested and taken to the Martin County Jail. A third person, 20-year-old Tracy Hall Johnson of Lagodi, was arrested after she showed up while officers were still at the home. Bradley and Hall Johnson are charged with level 6 felonies for maintaining a common nuisance and possession of a legend drug. Hall Johnson faces an additional level 6 felony for neglect of a dependent. Bradley, Hall Johnson, and Kropp are all charged with Class B misdemeanors for possession of marijuana and Class A misdemeanors for possession of paraphernalia. Kropp faces an additional Class B misdemeanor for maintaining a common nuisance. Huntington's Stellar Communities effort has gotten another funding boost, this time from a local business. Officials with Jasper-based Kimball Electronics say the company has pledged a total of $25,000 towards stellar projects in Huntington. The money is spread out over 2 years, which equates to $12,500 each year. In a news release, Kimball Electronics Vice President for Human Resources Julie Duchess says the long-term regional impact of the stellar designation is exciting. She pointed to the Heritage Trail and workforce housing projects as a couple of examples of projects that have major community benefits. The money is coming from the Kimball Electronics Foundation, which focuses on donations to community, charitable, educational, and scientific endeavors. Huntington received the Stellar Communities designation for 2014 in August of this past year. Governor Pence will soon be signing a new statewide energy efficiency plan into law. Yesterday, the Senate gave its final approval to a new bill that will require electric utilities to submit conservation plans to the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission every 3 years. Senate Utilities Chairman Jim Merritt says using the IURC instead of an outside agency will make this plan cheaper than the Energizing Indiana plan that it's replacing. Of course, the Energizing Indiana plan was repealed by the legislature last year, forcing communities to come up with new ways to save electricity. Jasper Utilities General Manager Bud Hauersberger says the Indiana Municipal Power Agency is already offering alternative ways for the city to save energy.
When it went away, we had already, IMPA had already put into place some rebate programs for light fixtures, for energy efficient equipment, and they are continuing to look at that program. That's called their energy efficiency rebate program, and other things, energy audits they will do for businesses.
Hauersberger says it will be interesting to see what other area utilities decide to do when it comes to energy savings. Now, the new bill does not direct utilities to achieve efficiencies in any particular way. Instead, Merritt says flexibility is necessary due to different needs for different utilities and expected federal regulations which will likely change the energy landscape. The bill was passed in the Senate on a 38-10 vote, and that vote mostly was along party lines. And finally tonight, restrictions on the route for the final leg of the Interstate 69 extension near Indianapolis will be lifted under a bill that's advancing in the legislature. A state Senate committee voted 5-3 yesterday to revoke the 2004 law that prohibits the highway from passing through southern Marion County's Perry Township. Supporters say they want state highway officials to have the option of using the Indiana 37 corridor for the I-69 section that will run between Martinsville and I-465. Opponents are maintaining using that route would cause traffic troubles and would hurt businesses in the area. The bill now goes before the full Senate for consideration. The House approved the proposal by a wide margin back in February. Of course, work is underway on a section of I-69 between Bloomington and Martinsville. Section 4 of the highway between Crane and Bloomington is expected to open to traffic later this year. All right, coming up after the break, rain continues for at least another day, and later, a new way to eat less without even knowing it. We're back after this.